Greetings people, this is Keith the Modesto doing my Let's Play Minecraft series using the Forge mod loader and the Direwolf 20 mod pack. Alright, here we are. Continuing with this never-ending build. This is the tunnel boring machine. And in the last episode I added some more autonomous activators on the underside right here in order to be able to place blocks so there would always be a floor to the tunnel in case there were gaps. I did in between episodes just now. It hasn't been very long since I finished recording my last episode. I made a travel anchor. I was missing pulsating iron. That was the thing I didn't have. I'm going to place this travel anchor right here. And I guess, at least for now, we will call it Ravine. I will probably call it something else eventually. Okay, so now we can go, let's see, we can go from the sub-basement. First floor. We cannot quite see this first floor directly, but we can get pretty close. Pretty close. This is the one just outside. So I could go here and here. Okay. Now, okay, so we need to be able to control this thing remotely, right? For right now, I can make it move forward by pushing this button, as we can demonstrate by doing it thusly, right? And that's all wonderful. What was that? There was a little swishing sound there for a moment. Okay, let's move this thing back. Okay, but what we want to do instead of that, we want to, of course, be able to control it remotely. That means we'll just take this thing out here. There we go. And we need to make some... Oops. Right after putting that anchor down, I totally forget that it's there and start flying back to another one. Okay, so we need to make... we need to make some wireless things. So, wireless transmitters and wireless receivers. I'm going to make 2 of them just for good measure. So, how many? I guess we have plenty of those. So we need, I have some, I should make some more obsidian sticks. Not that way. There's 2 different kinds of obsidian sticks. You want this one, because it just uses obsidian blocks, which I have plenty of. Okay, that should be more than enough. Okay, so we need some nether pearls, or ether pearls. I'm gonna make a couple extra. There we go. So I think we need to have at least 4 of these, and that should be enough for this. Okay, so I want 2 transmitters. I have a reason for wanting to have 2. Okay, so we need some receiver dishes. We need stone bowls. Let's get 2 of these, and then we'll make 2 of these. Then we can make 2 of these. Voila. Now let's get... we have a button already, but we need a lever. So I'll grab a lever. And my inventory's getting fullish. Probably don't need all that cobble or that gravel. Okay. And we need a counter. And there are at least 2 different kinds of counters. I'm sure energy counter, average counter, mob counter. We don't want a mob counter. We want counter plus, I don't know what that is. There's a counter from Project Red and a counter from RF Tools. From the descriptions, it sounds to me like the RF Tools one is going to be simpler to use, so I'm going to go and try making that. So we need a clock, and I guess that, whoops, not that one. There's 2 different recipes. We want that one because I have gold. And And we need a machine base. Okay. And I guess we'll find out if this is easier to use or not. Oh, and we need, what is it called? I need something that just ticks. Oh, and, well, I mean, there's the tick. I have a tick. What do I call that? Well, let's do, I'm getting some lag here. That was pretty bad. I guess we'll do, project red. Red. Really? There we go. Okay, which one of these? Multiplexer, pulse former, repeater? No. Randomizer, latch, toggle latch? No, no. Sensor, rain. Timer? Do I want a timer? Counter. That was the other possibility. This is something I should probably remember, but I never do. I guess it's a timer is what we want. So let's see if I have any of these things. Oh, I have very little of it. Where were you? Where were you? Why aren't these in alphabetical order or something? There we go. Okay, so I need some cathode. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, there's that. And a pointer. There's that. Is that everything? I need some these things. All right. So let's do a little playing around here. Okay. So this is time. Right, that's what I want. I want every once in a while to send out a redstone pulse. And I'm not sure if that pulse is going to be long enough, but say, oh, every 2 seconds probably. We will be testing that out, but I'm thinking maybe we should have a pulse former. Is that what we want? We want to spell it correctly. I probably don't have a lot of these things either. Let's see, I need some of these. I need 3 cathodes. All right, let's see what this does. Okay. I need to adjust that. Maybe with a screwdriver. I probably don't have a screwdriver anymore. Probably it's one of those things I lost. I don't see a screwdriver in there. I guess we'll just go and make it. Well, see if it's in here. No. Okay, let's make a screwdriver. And let's get rid of this button. I'm gonna put down some redstone here so I can better see what this thing is doing. So I just want to make that a little bit longer to make sure that, well, that's not what I want to do. There we go. How do I, is there no interface? Oh, that's cute. Oh, come on. Uh-oh, uh-oh. My game has done something horrible. I can't break the block. I wonder if the sun is setting. The stars are still moving. Suppose if I sleep, this will fix it? No, I can't sleep. It's definitely dark enough. Okay, this could be very bad. See, I can't break I can break that block. Oh, but it didn't. It didn't. The block is gone. Yeah, that didn't. Well, it sounded like it broke, but it's still there. Can I sleep now? I don't know what I should. All right, I am going to close the game down and come back, and I'm going to stop recording because this could take. I don't know what's wrong, and it could potentially be very bad. So I'll be back in a moment. All right, I've returned. You know, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what was happening. Apparently, right-clicking. I guess right-clicking. What was it? I was right-clicking on. I guess I was right-clicking on this. Oh no, I wasn't right-clicking on that. I was right-clicking on a pulse former with the screwdriver. I think that's what was causing the crash. Doing that. I'm not sure about that. I haven't tested that enough to be sure. But after I tried to do a little search on pulse former Minecraft crash to see if I would get a hit on that, but I didn't find anything. I didn't look a lot, but I didn't find anything. But then after reading a little bit of things about pulse formers, I realized pulse former wasn't really the block that I wanted. I wanted a repeater. I really should have known that. I was thinking, I just want. What my concern is just the timer by itself. When it goes off, it's a very, very short pulse, and I know that at least I don't know if this will be the case with the frame motors, the frame pusher. That's going to be pushing the tunnel boring machine forward. I don't know if this is the case it'll be the case with this, but I know with some things that are running on pulses or on redstone signals, a really, really short pulse doesn't really work, or doesn't work reliably. So it helps to have a longer pulse. For instance, I'm stuck on something. Oh, I'm setting the wrong key. I know that pushing a button gives a pulse that is long enough for the frame pusher to react, right? Because that's what I was doing to test it, right? So that's how long a button push lasts. So I have a repeater here. And I get you set the time how long the pulse will be with that by right clicking on that little miniature little torch that's kind of on right there. So if I send it, if I turn the timer on so it'll run, you see that how long that signal is. Now it's also there's a little bit of a delay between when the timer goes off and when the pulse forms, but that won't make any difference to what I'm doing. But you can see that the length is comparable, which is what I want, right? So I can be sure that the machine will run. Okay, so let's go sleep tonight, and I'll show you all this other stuff I've laid out. I've done a little bit of testing. What I want to do, I want to send out pulses one after another, and each time a pulse goes off, the machine is going to move forward. Break all the blocks, and then another pulse will come out and it'll move forward again. That's the basic idea. But I also want I want to be able to count how many times the frame pusher I want to count how many times the tunnel boring machine moves forward. Now I'm not going to be doing that directly. To do that directly, I would probably have to have a computer on a ComputerCraft computer on the platform, and have it running a GPS program and set up a GPS system, because there's other things you need to do to have there's a little GPS program built into, I believe, into the ComputerCraft. So you can make a little program that tells you what the GPS is and use modems, the modems that are part of ComputerCraft, or wireless modems, to get that information back to the base. So I could tell directly, how far has it actually traveled physically, so to speak, in my virtual Minecraft world. Anyway, there's a way to do that. I've seen it done. I haven't done that kind of thing myself. I don't think I've ever used the GPS system in ComputerCraft. Anyway, I don't want to bother with something that complicated, so I'm just going to assume, we'll see how this works out, that every time I send out a redstone signal, the pulse, if I do it like every 2 seconds or something, that the machine will successfully go forward. So I'm just going to count how many pulses are sent out. So I need a counter, and there are counters. There's a counter I made this counter right in the beginning of the episode from Project. No, what is this? This is RF Tools. So this got a very simple interface. Conceptually, this is really simple, which is kind of why I was thinking of doing it, because when I looked at, I also made the off camera. There's a spider around here somewhere. I made off camera the Project Red timer, so that's here. Here's the interface for it. Much more complicated, and it's more complicated and a little more complicated in operation. This one, every time it gets a redstone signal coming in to the cyan dot there, or kind of an arrow, and you can see they're kind of pointing in the direction of the direction of flow of the signal. Every time you get a redstone signal here, this counter is going. This one current is going to increment, and it's going to go up to whatever you set this to something. Right now I have it just set to 6. Here, there's a manual page right here, which is nice. It would be nice if all blocks, all machinery in Minecraft in every mod had a little open manual command like this, so you could see a little page that would tell you about the machine that you're in. That would be nice. Please, mod authors, I wish all of you would do that. Anyway, so every time it gets a redstone signal, it increments the counter, and when it gets up, okay, now that's a problem. That's a problem. When I first put down that timer, I was gonna explain how simple that block is to use, and it does seem really simple. There are 2 issues. It seems to have a maximum. I think the maximum for the counter is 999, although I'm not sure about that. It's hard to tell. And I need a higher number than that. The other problem, I guess I'll go ahead and launch again. The other problem, when I first put down the counter and started looking at the interface, then I put down the redstone wire, my game crashed, just like it just did just now. I'm not sure why it crashed, because I didn't just put down the redstone wire, and now this is going to be out of alignment. I'm going to have to fool around with that when I'm editing. Okay. Anyway, so we're not going to use the timer from RF Tools, even though it looks simple to use. I think I probably would have needed 3 of them in a row to get up to the count that I wanted, but that is doable. But if it's gonna crash my game randomly when I interact with it, that's no good. So we're not gonna use that. Anyway, I'm gonna start recording it, because this is gonna take a while to load, and I'll be back when it is up. Well, I've got the game back up, and everything seems to be okay. Let's see. I still have stuff in my inventory, so I didn't lose a bunch of stuff. Alright. I'm getting a little lag still as the game loads itself, I guess. I'm going to turn this thing off so it stops. That might help. It's not stopping. It should have stopped. There we go. That was weird. Okay, so as I was saying, we're not going to use this. Hopefully I can break it without everything crashing. And this is RF Tools. Not too impressed with RF Tools if interacting with their blocks causes the game to crash. Still, there we go. Okay, I guess we're safe now. I've seen the mod spotlight for RF Tools, and most of the stuff in it didn't really strike me as wonderful. Goodbye. There is one thing. There is a dimension building mechanic in RF Tools, which looks like I'd probably just want to at least play around with. And there's a way of setting up a way to teleport from one location in your world to another location in your world, or between dimensions. The further you travel, more energy, and if you're traveling between the dimensions, a lot of energy. That looked like it could be useful, but wow. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything with that, at least not right away. Okay, so now back to the red power timer counter, the red timer counter, which, as far as I know, works fine. Okay, so you have this rather complicated interface. So you send pulses, and it increments. And then once it's incremented all the way, right now I had it. Let's redo this. I have to go back. This is one of the things you have to, instead of with the RF timer counter, with the RF counter, you would set the count that it would what you want it to reach, say like 10. You send it redstone signals on, off every pulse, or every time it went high, it would count, right? Then it would have to go low. It wouldn't count on the low, but it would wait for another high, right? So it's really the pulse, and it increments. And then once it gets to the upper limit where you set the counter for up to 10, it would, if it were 10, I mean, once it gets to that point, it sets an output redstone signal to on, and resets the counter to 0, and starts over again, right? So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 output, and then this would go back to 0, and then when it got another pulse, it would count up to 1, and this signal would go off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, pulse goes high, 1, and then it would go low, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 high, 1 low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. I'm probably not explaining that very well. Well, this one, the counter goes up. The counter goes up. Once it gets to the top, this goes high. Then you have to send pulses on this one, and then the counter goes down from the high back down to the low. And once it gets to the bottom, this one outputs a high signal, whereas this one is low, right? And I just had this. Let's change this to 4, and you can also change the increment. So you could have, when it's going up, it's going by 1s. When it's going down, it's going by 10s or whatever you want, right? So now they're both to 1. But anyway, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then back down. And you can see there's on the top we have the maximum 4. On the bottom you have the state it's in, so it's in 4. Now I go down 1. Now it's 3. Now it's 2. It doesn't matter if you keep this on. Whoops. You can keep it on. It'll stay the same, but it's only counting the front of the wave when it goes high. That's a count. Okay, so there is one good thing. So, I really only needed to count up to a certain number, say 100. It's going to be a lot bigger than that. And then send out a redstone signal, and after that, I don't care. So it's kind of weird, the fact that you have to get it back to 0, you have to decrement it again. But that's no big deal for what I wanted to use it for. And you can the maximum can go really high, apparently. I wish there was a plus 100 button, because I really needed to be something like 3,000. But apparently that's possible. So right now I have it to 274, right? So I send out a pulse, send out a couple pulses, and now it's 3, right, till 274. So I assume this would take me a while to test, but it's going to successfully output a signal when it gets to 274, right? Okay, so this is what we're going to use. So I'm going to break this. I'll break all these things. We're ready to go ahead and try to set up our circuit. And once again, let me turn my magnet on. That'll make things easier. Didn't get that one yet. And right, everything seems to be a little laggy. I'm not getting as good a response. I think all these kind of circuits are really it's probably not a good idea to have a lot of this circuitry running all the time. So I'll probably get rid of it all once my tunnel's done. Okay, so let's start setting this thing up and see how far. Probably won't get very far. We've had lots of crashes and problems, and it's really been annoying. We got about 5 minutes to go, I think. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I don't know why, I kind of like setting these circuits up on walls, because it's just amusing to me or something. And it gets them out of the way. Oh yes, forgot. Okay, let's I don't much like having dirt there. Have some more stone, good. And let's get rid of this. And let's get my wand here for a moment and change it to, oh, we're almost out of time. I mean, we are almost out of time. It's also getting dark. There we go, thank you. Okay, I guess I'll brave the darkness here to get more time. Let's put this chest down so it's out of my inventory. And okay, this thing should be, my lamp should be doing its job, I think. Okay, I don't have it. Just talked about how I need to get rid of stuff in the inventory. Let's get rid of that. These. Okay. So, that circuit. Timers. Okay, so which one is this? This is the repeater. Okay. How am I gonna lay this out? That's a good question. How am I gonna lay this out? Oh, there's my timer. Oh, we're out of time. Oh, rats. Should I do this off camera or start it at the beginning of this episode? I've talked a lot about these circuits. Maybe I probably will just play around with this and set it up here, and then at the beginning of the next episode I will explain how it's working and test it out, you know, like by setting it to a nice little count like 10, and then send this thing on its way and see how it does. Maybe put some sand up here to see how it handles the sand. And oh, we gotta also put down frames. I gotta put down, well, we gotta hook up the circuitry on this thing, the receivers, the wireless receivers, to actually, you know, get the signal to this thing. Oh, and I gotta put a, let's do this before we end the episode. We'll just do this one little thing. We need a, once again, I came over here when I didn't need to. Habits are hard to break. We need a chunk loader. Oh, I've got one. Just sitting in here. I must have been doing something with it. So, and this is gonna go in here. I guess right there's a good place. And oh, that's not gonna work. What am I thinking? 9 chunks. Okay, so that means it'll always load the chunk in front of it and the chunk behind it, which is what we want. And I sure do hope that this thing still moves with that thing on it. Oh, and I took my, I just want to test that this thing, actually I could test it with this if I have, we don't have a frame there. Well, okay. I just want to make sure this thing still moves. So we got to put that down there. And where's my, there, and our button. Okay. Oh, it still works. It takes a moment to do it, and I was like, oh my god, it's not gonna work. Cool. Okay, I'll put it back. I was pretty sure that would work. If that didn't work, if the chunk loader made this thing not work, that would be a disaster. I probably should have tested that right away. Okay, and now it's raining. So in between episodes, I'm gonna set the circuitry up on this wall, and then in the next episode, we'll test it out, put some more frames on here just to cover up the top and the sides, so nothing can, you know, get in it while it's running and mess things up. I think that probably wouldn't really mess things up, but I don't want to take a chance on that. And also, we need to set all of the frames that are going to be sliding along the wall, so to speak, like these ones here on the top. We need to set them all so that they won't, so nothing will stick to them, so they're all closed like these are right here. And then we'll actually test this thing out. Okay, so this has been Keith and Modesto playing Modern Minecraft. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.